evening, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the RFC Tuesday podcast. This episode will be very exciting and informative as our discussion will focus on philanthropy and financial planning in action, its role towards long-term sustainability. Sustaining the mission of advocacies is very crucial, and we'll discover how financial planning and philanthropy will pivot a roadmap to make strategic leadership decisions. I am Dr. Glenda Antonio, the founder, president, and CEO of Spring Rain Global. I am a registered financial consultant and a registered estate planner and a certified fundraising manager. I have authored the book Discover Your True Wealth and also patented the Spring Rain Global 6-Pillar Capacitation Model. I am honored to be the guest anchor for this season.
But before we start, let us thank IARC Philippines, the Philippine chapter of the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants, for putting together this podcast. The IARC Philippines is an association dedicated to the craft of financial consulting. The association is the sole organization authorized to conduct the RFC conversion courses as well as continuing education in the field of financial consulting. I am one of your hosts tonight. I'm Kuya Ryan Daes, a registered financial consultant, a chartered wealth manager, and a registered estate planner. So good evening, Doctora. Welcome back. Thank you for being with us this entire season.
Good evening, Sir Ryan. It's nice to be back in this season, and I'm very interested about our episode for this evening.
Yeah, it sounds very enticing. Ang ganda ng title ng topic natin for tonight.
We are blessed to have with us two key leaders in the area of philanthropic development in the Spring Rain Global PDO ecosystem who will share about their journey, their story. From the Diocese of San Carlos Economos, also the Deputy Director of the Diocese of San Carlos Stewardship and Philanthropic Development Office, and the Vice President of the SRG PDO ecosystem, we have Father Alwen Jimenez, RFC. And also we have the Director of the Immaculate Heart of Mary Birmingham Philanthropic Development Office, the Global Representative Officer of the SRG PDO ecosystem, Sister Mary Sebastian Ogwok, IHM.
Welcome to the podcast, Father Alvin and Sister Zita. Thank you for being here.
Tell us more about your organization. How did you come across the story of being part of the Spring Rain Global ecosystem, the work that you do, and the advocacies that you care about? Let us begin with Sister Zita, all the way from England, and Father Alwen Jimenez from San Carlos Negros, Philippines. Sister Zita?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to this broadcast. I am Sister Mary Sebastian Ogwike. I belong to the congregation of the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Mother of Christ. We are founded in Nigeria, in Africa in 1937. It is a great privilege to come in contact with Dr. Glenda in April 2019 when we were together in Rome for a training of project management and fundraising. I would say that coming in contact with Spring Rain Global through Dr. Glenda was really a great inspiration and initiative for our religious institutes. What Spring Rain has done in the mission of our congregation is unimaginable. Not that we have not been into mission before, but Spring Rain really helped us to look at the word sustainability, how mission could be sustained. Obviously, as a religious congregation whose primary duty is to serve humanity in compassion and humility, but we are able to see it in a bigger picture. How do we get this mission going? That's what Spring Rain did for us. Spring Rain helped us to organize our mission and to have a perspective of the sustainability and how to keep this mission going in the long run. And we also able to organize our mission in 6 basic advocacies: education, medical health, human resource development, infrastructure, pastoral care, and care of vulnerable. And believe you me, since 2019, we came in contact with Spring Rain. We have been able to touch these 6 aspects of our mission. Most of them probably not quite neglected, but overlooked. The principle of Spring Rain really helped us to dive into these 6 aspects of our religious mission to bring the foundation or the mind of our father founder into action. And I would also say that another thing that I would really recommend SRG for is exposing me into this financial planning course. It was really a great privilege for me and an eye-opener, really, that coming from my career background as an accountant, it really opened my mind more, because there are so many things those days in the university we never study, but with the training, I was able to dive into so many things. And when I talk about estate planning now, or talk about education planning, or talk about investment planning, it gives me that confidence more in the career. And it makes me really feel, oh, now I'm really getting to my dream career for life. And as a religious, there are so many things, with our status of life, we tend to overlook, like, having a pension plan for ourselves. So we tend to forget that there is a long run or long-term thing for us. And the course that with the RFC course had to look into pension. How do we prepare ourselves for our later age? I think I'll stop it there. I will come up with other things in the next questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Zita. Father Alwin?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Father Alwin Jimenez of the Diocese of San Carlos, under the Stewardship and the Philanthropic Development Office, or SPDO. And I am the Deputy Director of that Philanthropy here. We got to know with Doc Glenda when the Spring Rain Global sponsored an inter-clergy basketball tournament in Cebu in 2015. And after the tournament, one of the priests here in the diocese introduced to Bishop Jerry, our bishop here, about the Spring Rain Global. And Bishop Jerry called Dr. Glenda to get familiar with, to get to know the Spring Rain Global in terms of their assistance. And then in 2015 of December, we inaugurated our Stewardship and Philanthropic Development Office under the guidance and mentorship of Dr. Glenda. And we identified at that time 18 advocacies. And we really appreciate the work of the Spring Rain Global in terms of their coaching to us, because we identified different advocacies that are suited to the needs of our parishioners in the whole Diocese of San Carlos. And after a few years, in 2020, we have this reshuffling, and at that time, I was appointed as treasurer or economos in the diocese. So we revisit the 18 advocacies, and we realigned into 14 advocacies, namely clergy healthcare, family and life, human resource development, infrastructure, integral ecology, liturgy, mass media and social communications, mission and evangelization, ongoing formation of the clergy, pastoral care and community development, scholarship, seminary formation and vocation, social action, and youth. And each advocacy, we have a priest in charge. We call it ambassador. So they will spearhead each advocacy, the ambassador. So moving forward, up to this time, we are in work in progress with our Stewardship and Philanthropic Development Office. So we are very grateful to the service of the Spring Green Global under the leadership of Dr. Glenda Antonio. So thank you.
Well, those are great sharings. Thank you, Sister Mary Sebastian, Father Alvin. Now let us talk about the challenges of sustainability. Somewhat it was mentioned a while ago, and those are ongoing concerns of your respective missions. How have you, as leaders in your respective organization, deal with it? And how do you think is the value of financial planning helpful in your work of philanthropy? Let's start off with Father Alvin.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. In terms of challenges, we have many challenges in our Philanthropic Development Office here. For me, we have to see things with a priority. There are many needs, but through financial planning, the value of financial planning, we can identify priorities. So, and we set priorities. So this is the value of financial planning here, vis-a-vis with sustainability. As a leader, make sure that for me, I have to evaluate the financial statement or a basic cash flow of the 14 advocacies that we have here. Then after visiting the cash flow or the financial statement, I have to identify my sources. Okay, where do I get to fund those advocacies? And then after that, we create initiative for fundraising, for example, and then we continuously connect donors, nurture, cultivate the relationship of our donors so that it will not be a single giving. It will really continue their giving because of the cultivation that we have. So it's not easy to connect donors. It's not easy to initiate initiative for fundraising. But what is very important is we identified, in financial planning, we have the very basic is to get the information and to get the data. And then there we can respond, the needs from that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Father. Sister Mary Sebastian, how about you?
There are two major challenges personally I have experienced, through sustaining the mission that we do. One of those is, of course, financial sustainability. And another one is meeting the demands of the people who come in contact with us for help. And my approach to attacking this problem is to maintain relationship with people that I come in contact with. By that I mean trying to create more awareness of who we are and what we do. And at that point, establish that relationship with the people, attracting them to the mission of our congregation. And again, opened my eyes also to other organizations, being willing and ready to partner with other organizations, tapping from their policies, tapping from their own knowledge on how they keep their mission going in the long run. And another way that I tackle it is, of course, being determined to face realities that confronts me when it comes to sourcing finance. Of course, it's not easy. It's very difficult, especially at this day and age when there are a lot of problems in the society. People are really struggling financially. And I found that one of the ways that I've been in touch is to maintain that communication with my supporters, with my donors, and continuous awareness of the mission we do. Arranging, like, so that they will have what we called IHM Sisters Fun Day, where we call all the parishioners together and just talk to them about the mission we do. And then we can see people were so excited, people were expressing, their feelings and never knew that, oh, we never knew you do all these things. It wasn't a pure fundraising event, but it was a kind of a donor support event. We gave them a cup of tea and biscuits, and they were all happy. I made a presentation about the work we do. So that's one of the ways that I sustain the mission that we're doing. And after that, many of them signed in and said, oh, we would like to support in this advocacy, we would like to support in this advocacy. And with that, we are creating more awareness with the flyers. People put our flowers and, get away with it. I believe that at some point, there are so many other people who will be coming to us through that event. And another way I've been able to tackle this issue of the financial sustainability problem is to utilize the funds that we raised for the papers, and also be accountable, give a report on how this, even if it is £10, it's nothing. But if it is something, I have to tell the donors, this is what the £10 did. And that was a great motivation for them. When I schedule like a 30 days fundraising, I've run a 30 days fundraising and targeted individuals for it. And I know how much people came up to that event, after which I reported to the individuals who donated personally. So I believe that, it's about being personally sustainable in yourself, looking at the bigger picture and in the long run. And with financial planning, with the course of financial planning, as I said earlier on, it was a great platform for me to stand on philanthropy. It gave me a good, stronghold to hold on, that I'm not talking only about philanthropy in the sense of giving people. There are other things I can give. Help people to plan their investments, help people to plan their pension, help people to plan their retirement, and so on. And this is the package within humanitarian mission as well. So with financial planning course, I would say it's been a great deal for me for my role as director. Thank you.
Wow. Both of you are really so inspiring. Now let's talk about the basics. Let's talk about the basic knowledge of financial planning. You see, Ryan, Father Alwen and Sister Zita are leaders by example, because they have put flesh to the work of financial planning by studying and finishing the RFC course. Who and what motivated you, Sister Zita and Father Alwen, to seriously study the profession? What has been its impact to you, knowing the full steps of the whole process? And how do you both think on the value of financial planning in the church, especially in doing what we call an institutional financial plan, or any organizations for that matter? Father Alwen, would you like to
Okay, thank you, Doc.
begin? Thank you.
What motivated me in the first place when I was assigned in a parish, in a mountain parish in Canlaon. So, um, There, it's my first time to personally manage a parish because I was assigned for 5 years in the seminary formation. So my prior background was about philosophy, about formation, basically. And here comes assigning in a parish without any background in terms of management. So, and then I tapped the assistance of the Spring Green Global to assist me in my parish because I put up there a parish PDO. And from that time, I got to know with Doc Glenda about RFC. So that's what motivated me, Doc, at that time. No? I'm curious about RFC, if I can finish the course because it it entails about figures, about calculation, and I don't have any background about that. So, but still, I'm very eager to experience, and because for me it helps in my management in a parish. And lo and behold, I went to Cebu, and I was the one. I only the one there from the religious sector because of all of my classmates were from insurance company now at that time. So my only background is in the religious side. So, but during the course with Miss Grace, I learned a lot in terms of my personal management about money. No, so I saw myself at that time how as a manager in my personal shall we say asset, no, and my personal money. So personally, I realized that financial planning at that time personally, no, helps me a lot, no, to really clear my priorities, to manage my personal money responsibly, no, and the value of financial planning, no, and then after the reshuffling in 2020, so a big responsibility entrusted to me, and then it really it came into my mind that the role of financial planning plays a very vital role in managing, no, especially in an institution. And looking at the strength of the Stewardship and Philanthropic Development Office here, it's very huge, no? And the moment that you handle big responsibility about money and donations, especially, there also the need of financial planning, because you cannot widow, or you cannot shall we say get and spend without really making a financial goal or financial plan. According to Miss Grace during our class, is the financial plan construction. Okay, so I applied, no, I applied the course of RFC in our philanthropic development office here. So where do I get the fund, no, to really fund these advocacies? So it's a matter of financial goal, no, financial plan, for example. So it really helps me as a leader, knowing the financial planning process. And then, for example, the very need that we have today is the retirement planning, no? So I really make priority and to where to get a source for a retirement plan for our clergy in the Diocese of San Carlos. So that's my experience and my motivation why I got the course of RFC.
I love the idea when you said that it has to begin with your personal conviction of your own understanding of how to do financial planning for yourself, and handling roles like what you're doing in the diocese would have to resonate from your personal to your organizational responsibility. Thank you, Father. Sister Zita, tell us about your journey.
Okay. What motivated me really in, taking up that course, the financial planning course, is Dr. Glendon. And personally, for the past, 7 years, I've been in a training platform where I train people in different things. And I've really done a professional, studies in coaching. So that's really kind of attracted me when I met with Dr. Glenda, and she talked to me about the FRS. Of course, with my background as an in that area, I was really interested, and she felt that I can also do it. She had this trust and confidence in me, and when I get into the course, I was so excited. I was so excited. One of the things that really excited me about the whole course is retirement planning. Because I know as religious people, we hardly talk about what is going to happen, in the long term. But when that particular module was lectured, I was super excited, and I called a sister who is a headmistress in a school, and she started telling me, "Oh, we have a problem with finance and all that." So I used what I learned from that course and started, taking her through. Oh my gosh, she was so excited. They were inviting me to come over and do the training for them, that they would like to know how to plan themselves and all those things. So you can imagine how the impact it has already made. And there are so many other people who I told I've done this course. They want me to come and teach them how to, plan their own finances, how to plan themselves and all that, when I share my experience and what I learned. So people were they're interested. That shows you the impact already, even though I've not really opened my arms to accepting clients on that because of what I have at the moment. But I'm hoping to bring it into the philanthropic development office of our congregation here in England, where I'll be able to offer that kind of consultancy to people. And bringing it down to myself, I've been a figure person, somebody who is mentally captured with figures. So when the calculations came, even though that was a bit of struggle because of my literacy or illiteracy in computer things, but I managed to get through the calculations, and it makes me happy because I'm a very mental person when it comes to figures. And I must really applaud the lecturers or the tutors that handled that course. They were well knowledged. They have competence in handling the model. So in as much as I made bits and bits, but the ones I was able to get through, it was really, really helpful. And my special thanks to Dr. Glendon, who really exposed me to that special opportunity. Coming down to my congregation, I picked 4 words from the definition of financial planning. And the 4 keywords I picked there is development, implementation, monitoring, and objective. So when you look at it, if you are kind of like trying to plan for your finance, you have to have a set of development. How do you implement your development? And if you did that development, that implementation, how do you monitor it? And it's when you go through this process, you'll be able to achieve your target. And in my opinion, I believe it is really, really important in financial planning to have a basement and to bring that into implementation, monitor it, and then be able to achieve your goal. And into philanthropy, getting it into philanthropy, handling the advocacies, for example. If we develop an advocacy, we have to monitor the movement of that advocacy. There should be a proper monitoring coming from how you are getting from it. How do you attract donors to this advocacy? How is people responding to you? How do you create awareness about this particular mission? And when that is done, how do you get to the target, which is the beneficiaries? What you have done, starting from when you developed this advocacy to the point you monitored it, getting it down to the beneficiaries, that's when you know that you have financially planned for this advocacy, because you'll be able to track your progress, where you started and where you are. And another thing that really touched me with financial planning is, if you keep it ongoing, that's when you talk about sustainability. If the financial planning is not reviewed, you don't talk about sustainability because you can't sustain it. With my experience also, if you have it, you don't have a long-term plan, there is no long-term plan for it, you don't talk about how you're going to sustain it. So I believe that with financial planning, it will help us to know that everything one does in life, there must be you have to streamline it. You must have a target to it. You have to give yourself time so that you'll be able to achieve it. And coming to my congregation right now, I believe that probably with other religious congregations, it's one of the challenges that we are facing. There is no financial planning. Everything is about now. Just like Father Owen said, there is no long-term plan. And it's very, very important for the church. It's very important for religious congregation and for charities to have a long-term plan, have the good knowledge of financial planning, so that even if it is one pesos you have, you'll be able to sustain it for the future. Thank you.
I'd like to highlight, Sister, the steps from point A to point B, because Sister had the invitation, but I think the complete success, Sir Ryan, was she acted on the invitation by pursuing the study, because many of us heard it, passed through our ears, and not be able to put our acts on it. So you played a role, Sister, and Father Alwen, to put action to move forward. When you saw that the course in itself would play a vital role by knowing the basics. Now, knowing the steps as good students of this course, knowing the steps of the financial planning process, what struck you most that needs immediate undertaking? Immediate meaning, of all the steps, this should be the priority that will play a role to be vital to sustainability, among others. Would it be risk management? Would it be retirement? Would it be health? Or all of those are in priority, but if you have to rank them, what should you recommend to be the first that you will put your act on it? Father Alwet?
For me, Doc, is a risk management, no? Because you cannot predict, we cannot anticipate, or we cannot predict the future, what will going to happen, no? So for me, is the first priority is the risk management, no? And we have to evaluate our institution. What are those risks that we are facing right now, so that we can respond immediately, no? So that it will protect the asset that we have, no? So for me, that's my take to that, Doc.
Thank you, Father. Sister Zita?
I agree with Father, that risk management is very, very vital, because for me, without having risk management in place, you will know where to step in. You might step into a wrong part, but with risk management, that gives you to know whether can my congregation or my organization handle this situation? If this kind of situation occurred, how do we go about it? If you don't know how to go about it, that can mess the whole system up. Every other thing flows with self-actualization of the organization, which comes through risk management, because it is through that you'll be able to find out where are your threats, your opportunities you have, your weaknesses, and your strengths, and be able to analyze really the status of your congregation, of your organization, that will lead you through other things that follows. Because when you have a proper risk assessment set in place, that is kind of a guide that leads to other things. So I agree with Father that risk management is very, very important and vital in financial planning. Thank you.
I'm very happy both of you mentioned risk management, because that's one of the modules that I teach in the course. Although Father Alvin did not go through my sessions, but I'm also a very big advocate of risk management, and I know how important it is in financial planning. So it's really very interesting that financial planning truly plays a major role in sustainability. If a risk happens, some projects will just lose steam and perhaps not push through. So thank you for mentioning that. And basically, the question is, what would be your advice to the many economists, perhaps treasurers, leaders on development who are facing challenges in sustaining their missions or faced with risk management issues like health, medical needs, retirement, etc. in their organization? Because we know how easily these concerns can zap out the resources of an organization or
Yes.
a diocese or perhaps a religious organization. What is the first step you can advise them to undertake? Let's start off with Father Alvin.
For me, we have to make an evaluation of our needs in terms of that we are facing right now, no? Like the medical needs, retirement. We have to make a financial planning or financial plan construction of the needs, the immediate needs that we have, no, so that we can step by step respond to the needs, because we cannot respond that the whole needs of our institution, but to see to it the step by step. No, we have to take step by step in terms of priorities. So for me, my only advice is to evaluate all our assets versus our liabilities, so that there we can start responding to the very immediate needs that we are facing that will somehow go into the risks, no? So for Mr. Ryan, it's about evaluation of the asset and liabilities.
Those are very good points, Father. If you know which needs would be more imminent, perhaps, or more immediate, then you can easily prioritize which ones to undertake, right?
Yes.
Those were great points. How about you, Sister Mary Sebastian?
In line with what Father said, it is important that you have visibility study about your organization, to have kind of good knowledge of what are the mission and vision of your organization, because that will help you to assess the needs and in the spirit of your mission and vision, because the people or your supporters or the beneficiaries, you are in the middle, you are working in the middle due to the supporters and the beneficiaries. So you have to work within the precincts of your mission and vision that will lead you to your beneficiaries. So it's important to have that good knowledge, a good visibility study about the organization, your organization or the organization we're working for. From there, you'll be able to find out what are the needs. And if there were needs, where? The needs in Africa might be different from the needs of your beneficiaries in Asia. So you assess the need of the people you are helping based on where they are, based on their constituency where they are. And if you have this in-depth knowledge about the organization, that makes way for a proper financial planning on how you go about them. And it's also important to prioritize these needs. For example, education for a child is important to him or her at that stage. The child needs education than money. Is it better to give the child money or to send this child to school? You have to be able to find out the priority of each mission. And another thing is, who are the stakeholders of this mission? You need to know people because you are a steward. You are handling people's resources. You are a messenger. The way you carried out your stewardship, that's what encourages your supporters to come in. Or the way you help somebody through their financial situation or financial analysis, that's the trust you are building on them. You are you are carrying in a very delicate mission in your hand. So you have to be really, really accountable. You have to be open to accountability and transparency in offering these services for financial planning to really be effective. So these are the things you have to explore during the visibility study and have your mind out for them that will help you to be efficient and competent as you carry out your. So my advice to people who would like to take this on, to have a proper knowledge of the organization and then go by priorities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. I'm really so inspired with both of you on how you applied from the knowledge to the heart to the implementation, and you know how deeply helpful that it's not that you fast forward things, because financial planning really taught us to follow the basic steps of the whole process. You cannot make decisions without assessing and doing the whole process of putting the financial plan together. So I know that you're both inspired, and I know that you are always dedicated to be channels of blessings for others, and you want to grow in number in terms of the church or any organization or charity for that matter advocating in financial planning. How do you empower the audience watching all around the world here to join the profession of the International Association of Registered Financial Consultant and be with us in this collective journey to long-term sustainability? Let's start with Sister Zita.
Well, one thing that personally I realized during the process of that course is I am not doing it for myself. I am doing it for other people. I am doing it to help somebody out into a financial crisis, because some people get into financial crisis until they don't know. So I will whoever will watch us later to know that taking up this profession is a profession of service. You are serving other people. And when you go out of, when you help somebody else, you derive joy from it. Just like the Bible says, that when you help somebody out of a particular situation, you automatically become a life changer for them. So the people, if you want to join this, it is a very good profession to embark on, not only for yourself, but also to support other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister. Father Alwin.
For me, this very noble call, no, a noble ministry or profession, because it helps us personally, no, to be responsible in managing the resources that are being entrusted to us, and to manage our institution that we are in right now. RFC is very helpful in our managing all that we have, all the resources that we have, because it teaches us comprehensively the strategy of managing the resources, and it will teach us the different processes on how to evaluate, how to assess, on how to sustain our assets, how to prevent risks, on how to grow in terms of investment. So there are silver linings, opportunities that we are facing that we do not know at this time. But if we try to engage RFC, so there we can see things in a perspective. No, we can see things in a very positive, that there are resources, there are many resources around us, personally or in the institution, that needs to be put in a process that lacks only in management. No, it lacks what we call this step by step. No, and we can learn that in the RFC. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you so much for your sharing, Father Alvin and Sister Zita, and for being so generous with your time. We learned so much on how financial planning and philanthropy has been helpful in managing your respective organization's roadmap to sustainability. We look forward to continuing to listen to your success stories as you unfold them or unfold the path ahead. So we pray that everything would be better, of course, and we're hoping that we will see all of you succeed in your respective missions. So now, please do remember for all of our regular viewers that please watch out for episode 4 of season 6, where we will focus on individual donors and organizations into philanthropy and financial planning. And we will be discussing about product solutions highly adaptable to such endeavors. If you have questions on these topics, please feel free to send it in the chat box right now below, which we will review prior to the next episode. For RFC public courses and continuing education trainings or seminars, please visit the IARFC Philippines Facebook page for announcements of schedules. Please do remember that active members now receive free continuing education seminars, access to the official IARFC website, www.iarfc.org, where each member of good standing is recognized when searched by clients and prospects alike. Please do be reminded that we can only use the RFC designation if we are members of good standing. For your membership renewal information, please contact Ms. Arlene Paguyo at iarfcph@gmail.com, or you can call her directly at 0917-645-7846. So please do contact IARC Philippines for your membership renewal. Our podcast episodes are shown every second and fourth Tuesday of each month. That is why it is very important that you all follow us on Facebook. All episodes are pre-recorded and are broadcasted through Facebook Live. On behalf of our executive producer, Ms. Grace De Vera Escobar, this is the RFC Tuesday podcast saying,
It is better to be in the know
than to be the last to know.
good night, everyone. See you in the next episode. God bless. Stay safe.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.